everybody. Welcome to Up Close and Personal. And tonight we have a very special guest, Jimi Sunderland. And I'm just going to say that she is very amazing, and credit to her for creating that thumbnail. So I just want to go ahead and open the floor to you, Jimi. And this is really all you.
All right. Well, I was going to say, nice thumbnail. I really liked that. That was really pretty.
Honestly, it was very hard to decide, between the four that you sent us.
We actually gonna rotate. We don't want to waste anything. So
you're going to rotate them all. Yeah. Okay. Now that's kind of cool, because that was a cool little surprise, like to see what the winner was, that was awesome.
Your work is good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Jimi. I'm a cis female. She, her. I'm pansexual. Recently come to find a new word as well. I've found out that I'm a demisexual. Do you guys know what that is?
Yes.
Yes. All right, cool. I'm like still trying to figure out if there's people that don't know, and everybody knows, which is great because I feel like I'm super late to the party. So demisexual, pansexual. I'm owner of Image Productions, which is right there at the bottom, which I create graphic designs, video editing, thumbnails like you just seen, merch, pretty much anything that comes with digital art that you can think of. If I don't know it, I'm definitely can learn it within a day or two and make it for you. I think like somebody asked me a week ago if I knew how to do Twitch emotes. I learned it in 24 hours, and now she has beautiful Twitch emotes. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. My creativity is just like, I just pick up things like crazy. So I love being creative. I'm a volunteer for multiple different independent content creators and groups, including KRTD, Transverse, you guys as well recently, and then a little bit of INN here and there. I just like to help out people. I like to call myself a creative eclectic witch. Eclectic is a person that kind of likes to pick and choose little bits of everything that they like. So I'm just a creative eclectic witch who has a passion in seeing people smile. I live by the word sonder, which means that every human being and every living thing on this earth has a deep and emotional life that you cannot even comprehend. So please, just respect and acknowledge that. That pretty much describes my outlook on the world and everyone in it, whether it's good or bad. That's pretty much me.
That is amazing. In other words,
I second that.
Jimi, you are a queen. That's what I call you in secret and now in public.
So. Oh, thank you. I still go around and say Sakuru for president. So
I would vote.
Same. Absolutely.
But I was going to say, yeah, I'm eclectic too, so I'm pretty familiar with that term eclecticism. That's actually my theoretical approach when it comes to counseling. I'm eclectic. I don't identify with one specific theory just because I understand each individual is unique and they can't respond to just one approach. There's many. So yeah, eclecticism is awesome.
I think learning the word sonder, it kind of brings you into being an eclectic type person, because you can't, you live your life thinking that everybody is experiencing what you're experiencing and watching what you're watching. And then you come to find out that there's just these beautiful and sad bits and pieces of the world everywhere that's completely living in different aspects and times and thoughts and consciousness. And it's just so beautiful that you got to just find the love and sometimes even the, depression of everything and just let it soak into you and let it become part of you. It's the only way to pretty much live your life nowadays because everybody's just a robot. And it's the only way to not live your life as a robot is to be able to take it in. So
totally agree with that.
Well said. Yep.
And this is Lady, if you want to know. She is all over the place.
Oh, cute puppy. Yeah.
She looks like Dobby. She looks like my little Dobby the elf. But that's Lady. She wants super attention right now. As you can tell, she's like at the bottom of the screen just begging for it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw ears. I'm like, who is that?
She's my Chewini. She's ridiculous. She's like the cutest, kittens, longest dog ever.
Don't you have like a bunch of kittens? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much like I'm like a keeper of a zoo right now. I've got my dog, and then my sister's dog that I'm babysitting. I've got one big cat, and then the mom cat, and then 5 kittens. So I've got 7 cats, 2 dogs in my house right now. I know. It's been rough.
God.
But I'm turning in. I found out today, I think from what I heard, there's like level of crazy cat lady. And I'm like getting up to the top tier area. So I'm very proud of myself. I like, there's like different levels. You start at the bottom where it's like there's just cats in your neighborhood and you feel obligated to feed them. So you leave food outside, all the way up to like you have conversations with your cat and they all talk to you in different languages and you know what they're thinking at all times. And I'm like getting up to that point now. So I'm proud. Very proud.
That is great.
I'm the crazy cat lady.
Yay.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that though.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that though, because if you kind of look at the animal shelters, what animal do you see the most at animal shelters? It's cats.
Yep.
More people should adopt cats. Cats are adorable.
Yep. Absolutely. I've been super, super cautious about anyone that's been adopting. Like somebody that wants to adopt these cats, I go through their Facebook and I like do an FBI search. I've already rejected a couple of people, so I'm super cautious. They'll never go to a pound. I'll never give up on them. I already told my husband, like, if they grow up and nobody wants them, we've just got 7 cats, like, until they die. I'm sorry, but I can't, like I can't. Like I've got to make sure they're going to a good home. I saw one lady who was like super Christian and I'm like, no, not doing it. Sorry.
I'm already playing a scenario in my head over that now. I'm just kind of picturing that right now with the cat in that setting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very scary. I better wipe it out.
It's most likely probably harmless, but just knowing that cat's going to have to watch that woman pray every night. And I'm just like, no, that poor cat. Can't do it. So I ignored her. So bad.
That's funny.
Everybody's telling me I should have like my own like vlog TV show like on YouTube of just me and the cats every day. So I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, totally watch that, Well,
yes.
I mean, I say sometimes, or almost every day, that the only reason you're on the internet is to see animal videos, animal photos, and a little bit of food photos, but animals basically. And I mean, combine that with Jimi, I'll watch it.
Right? But the fact that all my cats have a personality and I acknowledge that, it's brutal.
Just as long as you're not covering the crazy ass TikTok trends that they have. Like I literally okay, before we really dive in, there was actually a video I watched. This lady was cooking potatoes. Like she was trying to make mashed potatoes. So she put a whole bag of Lay's in a pot, which in theory is good. But she went and put 2 whole sticks of butter in there without taking out the wrapper. And then she ended up taking the wrapper out eventually. And I'm like, the actual fuck is this? I mean, like, I understand buttery mashed potatoes, but I mean, it's going to taste like paper.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Just as long as that's not getting promoted.
I swear they do that stuff on purpose because, like, there's those TikTokers that are like, you just got to do it this way. So they do it. They're like, I hope I can get clout. Let's do it the wrong way. And hopefully this guy will duet us. And that's because there's no way that people are like really doing that. There's some crazy stuff that they make. Like now there's sometimes where those like white down south women make some wild shit with like goldfish and stuff. I could believe that for sure.
Oh my God.
Like they make like 4-course meals with like meat and goldfish. It's nuts.
Don't do that. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Let's not cry now.
That broke my heart. Okay, that's it.
I know, right? Right.
I can't go on. No.
I can't go on now. I'm done.
Cleanse.
Right.
Think of cute puppies, cute kittens in your head. Let's just cleanse all that nasty stuff out.
Honestly, sorry. I mean, so Noah convinced me to do something with TikTok yesterday, so I'm just kind of exploring, but honestly, it may be just my age, but TikTok scares me. Very scary. I don't know if, the pace of it, what people do on there really scares me. I don't know. Now I'm talking like an old person, but
It is. It is. It's a lot to take in. Our natural biology is not used to taking in 10 to 60-second information and then swiping. Like, it's really hard for our brains to process. Like, you're literally watching something for 10 seconds that makes you cry. You're crying with that person. You're feeling the emotions, and then one flick and you're laughing. It's hard for brains to process all that extremely quickly. And then being a creator on there, a lot of it's not like, oh, this just so happened to be it, and this is, like, whoa, what a crazy coincidence. A lot of it's acting, and a lot of acting is embarrassing. Like, if you really think about it, being on a set as a superhero in a movie set, that shit's embarrassing. You're on strings with like stretchy green pants and like dots painted all over you. It's not, this super cool thing. It's so fucking embarrassing to be acting in front of people. So it's a lot to do. I mean, if you're doing this though, it just got to find, I can help you if you want. Just find like cute little quick trends and just do it.
That's kind of what I've been doing though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've just been paying attention, like, but I mean, the fear is valid though, Suguru, because TikTok for me, like, I started TikTok, I want to say it was a couple years ago, but I really wasn't into it. I was into Twitter. And obviously I had my Twitter hiatus. And so I went to TikTok. I actually, in a sense, I like TikTok. TikTok has its pros, it has its cons. I like the fact that you can make those videos and respond to people. Because the thing with Twitter, though, and you cannot have a conversation on Twitter because the text is often misconstrued. It causes a lot of arguments. But TikTok, like, you could sit there and respond to people and people would hear exactly your tone, and like it can't be misperceived unless like you really are selectively listening. But I mean, in the same breath, the con with it though, it's a performative ally platform. I hate that platform too. I mean, they had the audacity to tweet on Pride Month that they were an LGBTQ friendly platform, when in fact, actually, the LGBTQIA plus is morally punished on TikTok. Anytime that we try to stand up for ourselves, they punish us, but they let the bigots go and do whatever they want to do. Their community guidelines are very contradictory. I just can't. Like, I'm even on a warning right now just because I was trying to stand up for myself. And honestly, I don't even think what I said was bad. I wasn't threatening anybody, but according to them, it's bad.
Yeah, that's what they do. It's like they don't punish the original creator; they punish the other people that duet, or like how Andrew Tate just recently got banned. Like, he was allowed to be on there forever, and that guy's evil. Like I was telling you earlier, they did the same thing to me. I duetted a TikTok, and it wasn't even a bad one, and I got punished for like a week for it. And all it was a man saying to, put your finger down for these 5 things, and they're all like silly Republican stuff. So I didn't put my finger down, and the guy's like, now if you got all your fingers down, put your fist up so I can tell who each one of you are, so I can stay away from all you guys. And I was like, that's good, you got me. And they banned me for that. But like, his original video stayed up. Anybody else that duetted the same thing stayed up, but I got banned for a week for that and had to request it to come back and everything. And I had only been on TikTok for like, I think like 4 months at the time. So they're going for, they're letting these like high profile originators say what they want to say, but these low end people who aren't even really getting the word out to anything, they're just, copy and pasting pretty much, because we're, like me, I'm a nobody. I'm just copy and pasting, but they punish us. It's like punishing the poor person and letting the rich person get away with everything. It's pretty much the same, but culturally. So that's how it feels, at least. It's crazy in there. It's wild.
Yeah, I remember a video that I think it was taken from Twitter, but it was from one of the anti-maskers, and I think his name was Ethan. But anyway, he was sitting there talking about we need to get together and hunt down these LGBTQ pedophiles. And I duetted him, and I said, well, you're making a really good argument as to why it needs to be taught and everything. Then maybe you should go and hunt for yourselves, pretty much. Because, I had to make it clear. It's like LGBTQ people, that's the stigma that we have around us, is that we're pedophiles. And it's like, no. Do you realize that more cis hetero people are the ones that engage in that type of behavior, not us? That's clear projection enough. And TikTok basically took it down. said that I was harassing and bullying. And I was like, oh, which Karen was it this time? Because I would like to find that Karen so I could block them.
Right. Well, just for a historical fact, I just want people to know, anyone that is religious that believes that homosexuality is a sin based off the Bible, actually homosexuality was not even in the Bible as a sin until 1946. Before that, actually, it was masturbation. And I'm pretty sure a lot of cis white men decided that they wanted to be able to masturbate, so they changed it to homosexuality.
That's funny.
Oh
you got like
God.
a bunch of like masturbating white men in the pews. They're like, no, we ain't giving this up.
I'm dead. Don't get me started on evangelical Christians. Like, I mean, I promise. I try to call out their contradictions all the time. I even got into it with, so yesterday I made a tweet about student debt because, they're talking about canceling like $10,000 of it. This guy came on my thread talking about, well, you took out the loan, you need to pay it back. And it's like, well, you're a dumbass because you don't even know that I have been making payments towards my student loans. You act like I'm just trying to freeload, and that's not what I'm doing. Then he went and pulled a Christian talking point on me. I was like, Jesus was a socialist. And he is like, And so I went and showed him receipts of like Bible verses, particularly in Matthew, because that's where you see it. And he pretty much didn't even read it. He was like, this isn't proof. And I'm like, how is it not proof? These are Jesus's own words. You clearly are not going to be taken seriously because for me, what they like to do is they like to take scripture and they try to twist it to where they're justifying their own hate and ignorance. It's embarrassing.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think most people have read Bible actually.
No, I don't think so either.
I was raised as Catholic. I don't know if you know this, Jimmy, but I was raised as half Catholic actually because my mom's side is Catholic and my dad's side is not, which is kind of weird. But so that's the family that I grew up in. And at age 12, I went to boarding school, and my boarding school actually was not Catholic but Protestant Methodist missionary school. So I had Bible classes. So I actually read Bible like inside and out. So I know Bible, but I don't think most people who especially who pretend to quote from the Bible, I don't think they've read it. And and also I just have to make a point. And I know a lot of religious people may hate me for this, but okay, let's just think about this. That book's old. Both New Testament and the Old Testament. They're old, right? And they've been okay. So when they say it came out straight from God's mouth, I don't think so. Sorry, I beg to differ because it's been interpreted like hell. It's been rewritten to suit somebody's convenience, to make somebody's point, and that's what happens to written words, right? So I mean, anyway,
because most of the Bibles that are in mass production that everybody's reading nowadays is either the New International Version, which is a take of like more nowadays language of the King James Version, but the King James Version is the most mass produced one. But the King James Version, you have to realize it's King James for a reason because he rewrote it to suit his own king needs. So everybody reads a King's version instead of anyone that was before that was, at least translated from some kind of tablets from somewhere, I don't even think it's a historical book anyway. I honestly, truly, I mean, just the birth of Jesus, the fact that he was born of a virgin mother, died on a cross, and was reborn 3 days later is actually scripted in Greek and Egyptian mythology, or some kind of I think it's Roman, which was before Jesus was even born. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of I know Christianity and a lot of religions nowadays is pretty much like we were talking eclectic. They kind of nitpick and choose of all the other things to make it their own. Christmas tree is a pagan thing. Easter was supposed to be a pagan thing, celebrating solstice. It's all just, they just take it and make it their own. Whitewash is what we like to call. So colonize.
And the King James Version, honestly, I tried reading it. I can't. I really can't. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard. I wouldn't say it wasn't as hard as like reading like the Communist Manifesto. Like that one was difficult, but like the King James version, like I just couldn't. Like I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. So I did go towards like the newer versions.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And then all the books that are taken out of the Bible too. You know, you got the entire book of the Nag Hammadi. So that's all the scriptures taken out. You know, you've got Mary Magdalene, Elijah has his own in there. Those were all taken out. So, you know, what about them?
Yep. Again, it's an erasure thing.
Yep.
It's because they want to satisfy their own egos at the end of the day.
Exactly. Exactly what it is. We can go on about this forever.
Christian
white men, come on now. The best topic out there.
You know, I was gonna say though, you've always impressed me. You know, like how versatile you are, how multifaceted you are. I mean, where does that come from? Where do you come from?
My OCD and obsession with learning. I felt like at a young age, I thought, you know, like when you're younger, you feel like you're invincible and you can do anything. I thought that I can learn everything in a lifetime. I really thought it was possible. And I think I just still have that in me somewhere in the back of my consciousness somewhere. So my ability to just want to learn, I'll find the most mundane, boring thing ever and find the fun in it, and I'll memorize it because I love it. And that's always been my thing too. Like in school, I had a lot of problems getting good grades because I just didn't care about learning things. And then that's when I found out I can make myself learn something by making it fun. And then I've learned as everything. So whether it's, you know, like, I don't know, stupid little things about how bugs live to all the way to, you know, social narratives, cultural narratives, to religion, history. I just love everything, even economics, numbers, everything. I just love it. I love everything. I just want to learn it all. That's all.
So actually, you mentioned cultural narrative. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I mean, our culture these days, it's garbage right now. I mean, most of you know, like there's been active attacks with the LGBTQIA+, and you know, I kind of want to gain your perspective about this.
Okay. About the attacks of LGBTQ,
just like your whole cultural view, like what you've been taught, like basically, because we were having a conversation before we were like airing about the patriarchy. So if you don't mind going into depth about that.
All right, I'm a stoner, so I have to remember what we were talking about. Well, okay, here, let me just tell you my experience in the LGBTQ community. So I was raised by my aunt and her wife. My aunt is a butch. I'm pretty sure if she was younger now, she probably would have transitioned into a man. I remember growing up hearing her talking about how she had chin hair and she was super excited. She would stop in the middle of the living room and like bend over and fart really loud and tell me how good it was, you know, just typical dude things. So to me, growing up with my aunts Susie and Jerry, lesbianism and all of that was just normal to me. I never thought of anything different. Then when I got into high school, my best friend was a gay boy, but I'm pretty sure nowadays he's probably a she now. I'm absolutely positive because I used to bring her glitter. We would skip school during lunch and go and listen to Britney Spears driving down the road. You know, that was just our thing. We put makeup on each other, you know, things like that. He just did a lot of girl things with me. Out of high school, my best friend was or still is a lesbian. I'm pretty sure if she was young enough now, she would transition into a man. But I always, I just kept myself always around it. It's just always, the whole thing has always been around me. I've always been around that community. My best friend, Janet, she's pretty much like the closest friend I ever have. She's a lesbian. I really enjoyed keeping her around because not like I was using her, but it was really great to have because, you know, she'd have like a mohawk and tattoos everywhere. So I felt safe with her because I could go anywhere and nobody would talk to me. No guys would try to hit on me or anything like that. I felt like she could protect me because people were intimidated by her. They were scared, but they weren't intimidated by me because, I don't know, some young pretty girl that they wanted to talk to. So I always felt she was my protection. When I got old enough to be able to work, I started exotic dancing. Not only was I a stripper for like regular clubs, but I also stripped in the gay clubs out in my community. We had a club called the Back Door. So I was the first and only dancer there at the time for about 4.5 years. So that was fun. I've always just kept myself in the community no matter what. Probably looking for the opportunity to date the next hot girl because I just love me some bitches. So that worked.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's just been
oh, go
always a
ahead,
part of my
Drew.
life. So like when it comes to discrimination and stuff, as a pretty girl, you know, I obviously in the lesbians thing, I would be like a lipstick femme. Then I never got any of the backlash. Most of my backlash from like the patriarchy would be more like that's hot. Can I join? You know, that kind of stuff. Which it's kind of annoying. It kind of reminds me of like being married to a guy and like you're telling him you have a headache and he's like, I got something to fix that headache. You're like, why do you say that shit, bro? You know, it's like that same feeling. Like, I get it. You want to have a threesome and good luck. Sorry you weren't born a girl. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, go and find 2 hot chicks that want to do it. I'm not doing it. Why do you have to tell me this? You know? So that's kind of the patriarchy that I dealt with a lot. Being best friends, obviously, with the boy type girls. I would hear sometimes, you know, like, are you a boy or a girl? You know, but Janet always was like, I'm a girl. You know, it's just that's just how she identified. It's just what she was. I think that was more for the scare factor because some people thought she was a guy. So just to say she's a girl was pretty cool. And then I would kind of like feed off of that too, because they would be like, well, what's your name? And I'm like, well, my name's Jimmy. And they're like, are you a boy or a girl? I'm like, I'm a boy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a boy. Because my name's Jimmy. So they're like, are you? Because you look girly. I'm like, no, it's opposite. Totally opposite. Girl, boy, done. Yeah. So I like to use it to my benefit. I'm very much into like self-deprecating humor. I don't mind, you know, it makes me feel better when I can joke about myself. So if anybody was to make fun of like my sexuality or anything like that, just turn it back on them and have some jokes with it, because what are they going to do? You know, they're just there to hurt you and try to give their own perspective and their own opinion to try to change your mind, but they're not going to. So you might as well have fun with it and troll in real life.
Well, yeah, because like most of the stuff that they comment, it's like they lack creativity. Like, how is it not like you have to kind of joke about it because like their insults, they just lack creativity. It's like because you hear it like over and over and over. It's like, okay, we'll change the fucking record.
Yep. That's how you get really good at the comebacks, because they just hear it so much over and over. You're like, I got this one. I know the joke.
Yes. That's what I do all the time. Every time I see the same shit on my TikTok, I pretty much just try to make it funny. It's like, okay, well, maybe you need to go back to school and learn how to be creative in your insults, because, or either that, you need to get outside of your mother's basement and do something, because like obviously your thinking skills are like
Yep.
But you sounded like you wanted to ask something, Suguru, earlier, so I wanted to get back to that.
I did. No, sorry.
You did.
I was just like super intrigued by what you were saying, Jimmy.
My story.
No. Yes. I just think that you know, I always thought that okay, so God, you know, this probably will come out like I'm just like really flattering, but no, I don't mean that. But okay, so you are just super pretty, right? I mean, you are super pretty. I think every time that you have like yourself on Twitter, whatever, you know, wherever, I'm like, wow, Jimmy is like so pretty, right?
Snapchat filters.
But I mean, what I was gonna say though. Oh, okay. Now I will admit this. Like, next thing I'm gonna say sounds like my own bias. I fully admit that, but I'm gonna say it. So I always think that, oh, Jimmy's so pretty, but she has such this like chutzpah. You know, it's like she has such a like really kind of very, very, very strong, powerful, almost masculine energy in her, and that's like how I see you.
Cool. Good. I
No.
think that's been a lifelong battle of mine. So thank you for that. Literally my biggest battle in life is that it's the proving that I'm more than just a pretty face. So that's huge in my life. I literally just this year I've dealt with it a couple of times too. When I first started at KRTD, some content creator, when I became like the president of it, this content creator did a whole hit piece on me saying, who's this young girl, this young pretty girl taking over KRTD when the website shows this list of all these great older men that could be doing the same thing. So it's just, that's something that I've always had to prove, especially even being a dancer, you're stereotyped into this dumb bimbo girl that doesn't know anything, not realizing that while I was stripping, I was going to college to become a respiratory therapist. Like I've taken biology and chemistry. Like I know so much stuff. So that was my own, like trying to prove it. Like it's totally part of my mom too. Like I can't not blame my mom for that as well and give her credit for it, because growing up with a single mom, she was the one that had to do everything. So, and me and my sister were always with her. So I watched my mom, change tires and fix cars. And I've been to work with my mom when we were too young to leave home alone. So I would sit at 7-Eleven at the gas station with my mom while she worked as a night shift. So I've seen what a woman is capable of doing, that kind of like blends and gets rid of just the femininity and shows that women are, back then it was more like my mom was like, I can do men things too. We would go to the racetrack when LACR was still out there. We would go and race out there. My mom had a 9-second muscle car that she would race. So I just grew up with all this really cool manly stuff, and my mom trying to prove as a single mother that she can do all these man things too. So when I grew up, me and my mom are twins. Like she looks just like me. There is like no difference. So her proving all of that, and then me looking just like my mom and feeling and hearing the same thing, I kind of did the same thing, but more with like I can still do the same thing my mom's does. I know how to drive a stick shift. I know how to change a tire. I can change oils. I can brakes. I can fix things in houses. I can, build stuff, all that stuff that my mom can do. But I wanted to do it more with the intellect as well. Because I didn't, other than my mom, where she worked and worked and worked. So she proved it. I was dancing. So even though I worked and worked and worked, people still thought I was dumb. So I was like, well, then I'm going to be the stripper every night who talks politics, who talks religion. I was known as the politics girl. Like if you can ask anybody who still like knew me back then, seeing me in this environment now, running for office, being involved in politics, they're all like, yep, this is what you should have done when you retired as a dancer. I totally could see you doing this. So this is just because I got to be able to prove to myself and to other people that I had a brain. Yeah. The scarecrow or something, I swear.
I hate gender norms. That's all I'm gonna say. I fucking hate gender norms, because that's how women are painted in society, that they're weak and they're not capable of anything, when it's the complete opposite. Because basically we live in a society where men just need to be dominant. They just need to be dominant. And it's like, no, you do not. It needs to be an equal society. Humble yourselves, okay? It's like it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. You do not need to be doing this.
Yeah. And it gets deep too. Like, just in the last few years when I would move, my own family, like my mom, my dad, my sister, they would not let me pick up large, heavy boxes, thinking that I'm weak because I'm the smallest one in the family, and all the other women are like these, beautiful big women and stuff. And since I'm this tiny little thing, they think that I can't pick up boxes. But I'm like, bro, I can lift like my own weight on a pole and do tricks. Like I'm 115 pounds. Like, if I can do that with my own arms, you think I can't pick up a couch and help you move a couch over? That's in my own family that they're saying that kind of stuff. They raised me. They knew what I was like. It's just they don't pay attention to the fact of, I guess it's just me trying to prove to them and myself, but hopefully to them, that they would see it, but they're just never going to see it. So might as well just be for me.
I just have to say though, because I mean, two things, but so I spent, you know, most of my life as an Asian woman in this country. Um, so like, and I'm very very petite, you know, 5'2", right?
Me too.
5'2", about 100 pounds. So so I've gotten like a lot of shit for that, you know, throughout my life. You know, I've always been seen as like weak, feminine. I mean, feminine, nothing wrong with feminine, but like, you know, for other people, but for me, I mean, you know, personally. But
Right.
anyway, but the thing is though, I had a fortune. I was lucky to be surrounded by women, and I had a fortune to spend my, you know, life with a lots of women, right? And I do have to say, women are strong though, you know, and I think men know that actually. You know,
Hopefully.
I think
Of
they're scared
course.
of women because women are really, I mean, God, they are strong. And I think my theory, because I was sort of a management consultant in my former life, and I studied leadership, right? So I always thought that you know, we really have to study how women managers manage, but not because anything intrinsically different, but because women have been disadvantaged and women have figured out the way to use that disadvantage as advantage, almost like, you know, turning around and turn it into their strength. And they are very very good at managing people um, in a very very equitable manner, because you know, because basically, you know, simply because they've been disadvantaged and they know what it's like, you know, to be treated unequally. So yeah, anyway, I just have to say that, you know, I really do fully celebrate women because God, they are strong.
Yeah, I agree. I agree absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, but unfortunately, even like with women's rights right now, like that's been compromised in itself because who else do we have to thank? The turf movement. Boo. I have so much empathy for like the legitimate women's rights movements that are actually trying to do something effectively and actually are being inclusive and adding everyone. But
Yep.
turfs, nope. They're destroying things, and honestly, it has to stop.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree. It's like in the what was it, the 70s and 80s when the women's rights movements were, or 60s when the women's rights movements were getting really big, and there was this one woman who was really good about socialism and women's rights movements, but then like the media propped up this other woman where she's like, yeah, women need rights, but what about the women who choose to stay in the kitchen? Like, we should have those rights too. Like, you're degrading the movement itself. Like, you're just I always say these movements, I like to be reminded, I was just talking about this yesterday on the news, the left-handed movement, you know, people were forced to not be able to use left hand writing for so long that as soon as they allowed it, there was this huge spike in it, and then everything leveled off. Like, let everybody experience what they want to right now. It, you know, of course it's going to shoot up, but at a certain point in the next 20 to 30 years, it's all going to level out. There's nothing going to be wrong. You just feel like you're being demasculated right now because you're not in charge anymore, you know? So, or these women who feel like our thing, you know, can't get any better because you're adding more to it and the scope needs to be this small. The scope doesn't need to be this small. The more allies and people you bring into a movement, the more chance you have of actually succeeding, because everybody is only one person. But once, you know, that one fish goes around with the school of fish, you can eat a shark. It can happen. You know, look at piranhas. Those motherfuckers eat sharks for fucking breakfast, lunch, and snacks. Let's be piranhas. This is our villain year. Let's do it.
Yep.
So,
And the thing is too, like the turf movement, the thing that really bothers me about the turf movement is that they don't, and it's sad too, in the same breath, they don't see the damage that they're doing.
Yeah.
They're giving fuel to all these people that are really, really dangerous. I mean, like, I know for a while, TERFs were trending for, I want to say, for like 2 weeks. And I'm thinking about, oh shit, what the fuck did they do? Just to come to find out they were freaking out over the new women's rights logo. Because one of the pictures, like the silhouettes, looked a little bit more masculine. And they're basically saying, oh, well, that's just a man.
Wow.
They went ape shit over that. And I'm like, really? We're going to go sit there and really nitpick at facial features? Because TERFs are all about anatomy. That's why I cannot take them seriously. I cannot take it seriously. They're producing, I actually saw a tweet yesterday. I think it was by Matt Walsh. Like, he was talking about, we will win this battle with like the gender cult and the gender ideology cult. Where do you think he gets that talking point from? The TERF movement. It's dangerous.
I think there's a good way to fight back, because you were saying yourself, you can't take it seriously. You can't take them seriously. Maybe starting like a silly little ladies hashtag or something, and maybe use like the tricks are for kids, but instead use something else like TERFs are for bitches. I don't know.
People call TERFs Nazis, though. So, I mean, they get called the most extreme names ever. But, I mean, let's be real. They are Nazis. Good. At least when it comes to the trans community.
My hardest thing is the J.K. Rowling one, because I'm such a Harry Potter lover. It's so hard to separate the life. Like, how are you going to create characters in there that are... Yes. There we go.
Yep. My butterbeer.
How are you going to create characters that are gay and stuff in your own movies and your own books, but you're going to leave out just one letter? Like, it's just, they're still humans. It's so hard. I'm trying to not like Harry Potter anymore, but it's hard.
I mean, the thing with J.K. Rowling that's like, I feel is contradictory, because she uses a pseudonym, right? So she's pretending she's a man. And it's like, on one hand, like, you look at her feed, she's fucking hateful towards men, but yet it's like she's got a pseudonym and she's a man. I think the funniest thing, though, I think on her birthday, they actually used they, them pronouns for her birthday, and it was hilarious. I swear on Crip. Like, I know.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it because I actually never engage in this type of conversation, but I do, because I am not authorized to diagnose anyone, nor are you maybe, but okay, so I do feel that J.K. Rowling is very much scarred person. She's been hurt, and I do have compassion, but no reason to take it out on people.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Wait, has she been hurt? Like, what person in the trans community has given her a boo-boo? Like, for real?
No, like in her own life, like private life,
Yeah, but why does she have to take it out on trans? That's the thing. Like, who in trans in her life hurt her to where she has, I get it being super female and super feminist. I get it. I totally understand. Sometimes I'm a man-hating woman and I'm married to a man. I totally understand sometimes. I was stupid enough to be such a man hater that I asked my best friend who's a trans man, why did you want to choose to be a man if you hate men so much? Like, dumbest fucking question I could ever ask in my lifetime. Like, you didn't choose this. This is what you are. Like, fucking sucks. I hate you. But, like, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, who hurt her? What person, like, what happened in her life to choose a trans? I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I know I can't remember how long ago this was, but I guess some trans people showed up at her house. I guess some trans people threatened her, which I think is bullshit, but what can I say? But like, with Sukuru, I'm going to say though, it's good that you don't engage, at least on the online discourse when it comes to TERFs. Yeah. I actually saw a TERF that commented on your post this morning.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Let the fun begin.
Yes. Well, actually, Laura actually commented back. And see, the thing is with TERFs, like, you can't really confront them online because the thing that everybody needs to realize, the TERF movement is very powerful. They got J.K. Rowling. They got all these figures. They have that ability, just like with shitlibs, to actually, like, mass report accounts and get accounts suspended. I have seen it all the time on LGBTQ Twitter. They will mass report you. That is why I do not engage with TERFs. That, and they give me a fucking headache. They just give me a headache because their logic makes no sense whatsoever. I cannot engage with it anyway.
Right. So it's like they're clout chasers and don't feed the trolls.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like, pick your battles when it comes to the trolls, but the TERFs, I mean, like, I'm not afraid to call them out, but arguing with them online, nope, that's a big no-no for me. I'm staying the fuck away from that discourse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just so, it just doesn't make any sense. You're so okay in acknowledging all the other letters of the LGBTQ, but you leave out one of them. Like, I don't know, just doesn't make any sense. It's like cherry picking, like Christians. It's like, you know, I can believe this, and this, but you're wrong. Like, come on.
But like the TERF movement I've actually always said this, the TERF movement, I feel like, is part of the reason why the LGBTQIA plus is divided. Because they have recruited some members of the LGB into their circle. Because I have gotten shit from gay men. I have gotten shit from lesbians. And like the thing is, it's weird because like, so when I came out as trans, lesbians were okay with it. But the moment my daughter came out as trans, they lost their shit. They lost their shit. It's ridiculous.
Right. Makes sense. That's bullshit.
Hi, guys. Oh, my daughter was in the back, so she was just saying bye. So
I heard her. Hi. Hi and bye.
Hi and bye.
Yeah. What really worries me right now, though, and I don't really want to take away from the conversation because this show is about you, Jimmy. But I just want to say this. What scares me right now actually is so there was me 2 weeks ago. TERFs, I thought, okay, these people are crazy. They're just doing their crazy talk. I'm just gonna leave them alone. But some of them are successfully converting people in the middle. It's how I see it. Because as long as they were talking about amongst themselves and they are doing their crazy talk, you can leave them alone. But once they start to successfully convince people who are not exactly conservative or right wing into thinking that there's a reasonable cause or reasonable there's a reasonable evidence to be afraid of trans people or trans ideology, I guess how they want to call it. And that's what actually started to alarm me actually last week. Not going to get into the conversation deeply, but I actually had a 2-hour conversation with a friend of mine who actually brought up all these like fear. So I was like trying to explain, like how it's misguided. But that was when I realized, oh God, this is actually serious. I can't really laugh it up anymore by saying that, oh, these are crazy talk and these are crazy people. And next day, Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill came out. So yeah.
I can't wait to talk about that later, honestly. I've been preparing for that like all day because I'm so pissed off about it. And I'll actually give you a little preview. Like, I saw a tweet of hers today. I guess she got swatted. That's what she put it as.
Yes.
Yes, she got swatted. And I literally quote tweeted her and I posted a picture of stats of youth that have considered suicide. Considered suicide within this past year. And it's like, you are literally trying to kill people.
Yep.
Like, you are literally trying to do that.
Yep.
I mean,
I think our only, in the future with this bill, if this goes through, our only hope is Joe Biden's veto power. That's it. Because I'm pretty sure by November, we're going to have a majority Republican House and Senate. We're fucked. I mean, not like we had any hope now within the last 2 years because they haven't done shit anyways, but still. Now it's like, now our only power is veto because it's conservative all up and down. So,
Well, they codify gay marriage though, so and they had Republicans on board.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Trans people, I feel like it's different though. That's, I mean, sad to say because we are easy target.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying this, we are easy target, and they are actually. I would think I would even go so far as to say Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually not that serious about this bill. Okay, the reason why I'm saying that, so what I mean by that, she's just doing it for brownie points.
right.
Yep.
I don't think she believes that we are that evil. Actually, she just does not. First of all, she just does not care about us. She just actually does not care that if we die.
Right.
I don't think she gives a fuck. Okay, so that's one. But by the same token, I don't think she seriously thinks that we are dangerous people. She just is doing this because we are easy target, and that earns her points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the most disgusting thing ever, though, because that's what I've been observing. In all these like state level anti-trans legislations that's been introduced, this year in this country. I think they're all out to out to earn themselves some points,
Mm-hmm.
and we are just, being used for that.
Right.
And we are being used by Democrats to ask for donations, more to fundraise, right? Because oh my God, now Republicans are coming after human rights. We have to keep a majority. Give us money.
Yep. Right.
And
When they
see,
could have done something.
the thing is though, that is real though to some degree. It's just they had the power to try to do something about it. That's the thing that needs to be discussed. They have the power to do that shit. They're just choosing not to. It's the same cat and mouse game. That's why, in a sense, like when Joe Biden was able to kind of, I think what did he do? Like he reestablished like protections for LGBTQ people. I'm not even actually really celebrating that, to be honest, because I do know, I really truly believe and agree with you, Jimmy, that we're going to have a Republican House, we're going to have a Republican Senate, and it's just going to get overturned. So it's just like, okay, it was nice while we had it, but
that's why we need people like you and, here over at Trans Collaborative, T.R.A.N here, because it's like the Republicans are keeping the people dumbed down to where they can keep them fear-based and make them believe what they want. And the Democrats are staying silent. So somebody's going to be out there to educate the people on what these bills mean, what it's like to be part of this LGBTQ plus community, and let the laymen and the regular people know this. It's the only way that, that people are going to be able to educate and learn and be able to make their own educated choices on it, is through people like you guys and anybody else that's doing, content creation or education. It has to be like that, because there isn't anything else. Politicians aren't going to do shit. They're just going to keep chopping away. So.
And I actually saw this article, and I actually mentioned it on our last episode of Up Close and Personal when we were interviewing Eric. Like, they literally talk about trans people when it comes to anti-trans issues. They literally, like, networks like MSNBC, CNN, they literally spend 5 minutes talking about it, and that's it. That's it. Like, our issues are not talked about. Right. Oh, well, minus Pride Month. That's it.
Right.
And even then, they're not really even given accurate information. They're not even highlighting the most important events. Yes, Stonewall was a very important event, but what about the cafeteria riots?
Right. Well, even just with this new Marjorie Taylor Greene bill, like, most people don't even know what's in it. And the Republicans are going and calling it like, we're going to stop chemical castration on children. I think it's like Protect Our Children's Act. Yeah. So just their wording is fear-based and fear-mongering. But if you just go and do a little bit of research on Google, you can literally find that hormone blockers, all it is I like to look at it like a movie. You're watching a movie, but at home, but you want to go outside and smoke a little weed so you can re-get yourself stoned again before you go watch the movie. You finish the movie, you push the pause button, you go out and you smoke, you come back and you push play and you finish watching the movie. That's how at least from what I've researched, that's what I see hormone blockers are. All it is a pause button, and then you can push play again whenever you want. But people are like, chemical castration, like, I'm chopping it off, it's going away, like it's this brutal thing. Like, No, you guys, you want to talk about castration and shit. Why don't you talk about, what they do to little baby boys when they're born? Let's talk about that instead. But they don't want to talk about that. But they're, we can't pause this at all because it's so bad. It's crazy to me.
It's like that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's like that with the intersex community too. Like, they're chopping off stuff too. They're not even giving those people a chance either. They're pretty much dictating to them what they should be.
Yep, absolutely. And that poor little baby, like, they could choose to keep, the male part, but then the hormones in the body produces estrogen when they're born, and they feel like a girl. Well, now this girl's got the hormones, but now you've got to go through surgery again because that person didn't get to make the choice because the parents made it for him at birth. It's crazy. It's all about controlling. It really feels like it's about control.
It's all about anatomy. And you know what? I always call those people groomers, honestly. They want to call us groomers. I call them groomers, because that's all they seem to want to talk about is the genitals. It's like, okay, obviously you have a problem. Yep. That's why I said it's clear projection. That's all it is. It's clear fucking projection.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what I keep telling all these men that get mad at us about like the whole Roe v. Wade and like how they're happy that it happened. I'm like, if you want my uterus, you can have it. Like, I will literally sit here, cut this bitch out and throw it at you. Just take it. I don't want it. You want it that bad? Fucking make babies yourself, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, they can get pregnant. I mean, let's just see how you deal with it. and we actually, three of us are authorized to say this. I don't know. It's like you do it.
You do it. Yeah, baby. I'm done.
Yeah. See how it goes for you.
Anyway. Exactly. Yeah, I'd love to see him go through labor pains. That's my dream.
and you call women weak? Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, talk about who's the strongest sex then, motherfuckers. Let's go.
I mean, menstruation alone, though. Yep. I mean, menstrual pain.
Yep.
That's no joke.
Oh my god.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh my god. Yeah, but to some degree, I think some men do experience that though, because like, so one of my past relationships, like, anytime I would finish up with my cycle, it was like literally a couple days later, like my partner would just act like completely like me, except more extreme, obviously, because he had the extra testosterone. It was like, oh, do you need a Midol? Like, what do you need? Like, but I would love to see them go through that though.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you sure they weren't a hypochondriac?
Although, in my opinion, though, if they want to strip women away from like making kids, then maybe they should all get vasectomies then. Let's have them all snipped.
Yep, absolutely. Make masturbation illegal. Yep. Sorry. If you're gonna squirt your babies into a tissue, that's murder. Sorry. Each count. You better sit there and count that shit.
I am so dead.
I mean, well, because that's what should be happening. I mean, if they've blurred the lines of what is a fetus and what is a human, we don't know where they think it starts. Like, is it, right when that sperm hits the egg? Is that when it's a human? Like 2 seconds after? So you're saying, like, if a person had a couple just finished having sex and you cut that girl open and you pull that sperm out before it's even hit the egg, does that not count as murder? Can that be count as abortion? Is that okay? Is that person not a person yet? Like, the lines of it has been blurred so much that, why can't we have fun with it? And since they're going to say, since we can't have an abortion, then you can't murder your sperm. It should just be that way. That should be how it is. Stop punishing women. Also, good point. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know men can have like a number, like you can't even count the amount of babies a man can have in a year's process, but a woman can only have one. That's it. Why are we punishing the women? The men should be punished. Blank out those fucking babies somewhere. Chop that shit off. Snip, snap, done.
Well, mine is trans men, because trans men can have kids too.
Yes. True.
Trans men can have kids too. I actually
Yeah.
know a lot of trans dads that have given birth to kids.
That's cool. That's way cool. You guys are like your own seahorses.
Oh yeah.
We're
so
a fun community. If like people just gave us the time of day, like we're really fun and we're a very unique community. I just wish people would just wake up and not buy into this bullshit garbage that's being said about us.
Yeah. That's what I always think. If you're a trans man, you're a man to me, obviously. There's no question to ask. And if you want to take on the responsibility of having a baby, please. Have at it. I would love to be able to hold somebody's belly and be like, my baby's growing so beautifully. You look gorgeous. You're glowing. I would love to be able to do that instead of having it done to me. I don't want, because when people tell you that, you feel ugly and you feel fat and you're like, shut up, give me a sausage, the worst people know. But I would love to be the person to say it, like, you're glowing. I don't have to say anything. You look gorgeous, babe.
Okay, I'm totally like sidetracking about this, but I just have to say, okay, so when you were pregnant though, I don't know if it's like a Japanese thing, but what annoyed me the most, like a strangers want to touch your belly, and like no, you're not touching you're not touching me, you're not touching my body, you're not allowed to, but they feel like they're entitled to, like if somebody's pregnant. They're like, oh my God, and that's the creepiest thing ever for me. I mean, yeah.
It just irritated me because my stomach was so itchy because I got so big. So anytime, I was fighting the last 3 months of not scratching my belly because it itched so bad. And soon as somebody was like, let me touch it a little bit, I'm like, no, it itches, quit, don't touch it. So it was just super annoying. I'm just like, I couldn't have him touch it just because I just wanted to itch it at all times. The itchiness.
Let's just be real though, cis men are just very, very creepy in general.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, let's just be real here.
They are. The way they think, it's just wild to me. Like, it's literally like they think food, sex, sleep, food, sex, sleep. That's it. Literally everything. And you could be saying the wildest thing and they're like, I know how to fix that. Like, Jesus.
Right? Are we overcompensating here? Is that what we're doing?
You're like, I missed my show. They're like, I can make you watch your show. You're like, the fucking dryer is broken. They're like, I can fix the dryer. It's like, Jesus Christ. Everything.
Oh, but then they kind of complain later though. It's
yeah. Where they go to work all day and they come home and they're like, they sweep the house really quick without you knowing, and they come outside and they're like, I swept the floor for you. Like, bitch, you didn't sweep the floor for me. Just do your fucking job and shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure I swept and mopped that floor 4 times today, but the cats keep fucking it up. So welcome to my world, okay?
I'm so dead. Like, okay, so I know with my previous marriage, like my spouse would work at night and I would clean up and everything, and it's just like he would sit there and purposely like leave the dishes, but yet in the same breath he would bitch about them being dirty, and it's just like, pick it up. Well, I worked all day, I need a break. Like, boo-hoo, I've been up since like 4:00 this morning taking care of your child and everything, plus doing 2 jobs, so fuck off and shut up.
Exactly. They think like as soon as you come home, that's still your job. They don't realize like that should be your break. There should not be gender roles. That should be a team play 100% all the way. If you see something lacking, you pick it up. If I see something lacking, I'll pick it up. That's how it is. And if it's dirty, oh well, we live in a lived-in house for a couple of days and there's dishes in the sink. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I think this quarantine has taught my family a lot, like about pickiness and trying to, be on each other about certain things, or even like the gender roles, before the quarantine, I kind of felt like I was a housewife and a house mom and stuff, and went through the depression of the quarantine, and then finally told my husband, like, I'm not the nuclear family. I don't want to be in a part of a nuclear family. I think that we should be equal and even. Just because I volunteer my time to political things by doing graphic design and video editing doesn't mean I'm not working. So not only am I working, but I'm at home cleaning all day. So it's got to be a double duty thing. Like, it can't just be me all the time. And he understood and he got it. And now we're a team and we're doing really well. It's just funny to hear that, you know, a little bit of the misogyny is still in him a little bit, where he's like, I did the dishes. Like, fuck you. I do them all the time.
And it's like, so do you want a medal? Do you want a cookie?
Like the man that he is and play with him, you know, he likes the banter and all of that. So I just got to be like, fuck you. You're the dude. I don't care.
No, what you say to them though is like, when I've gotten that response, I say, well, do you want a cookie? Do you want a medal? Do you want me to go ahead and post online about like, hey, like, my husband went and did the dishes, congratulations, even though I do it all the fucking time.
Yep, that's been my recent one, is the cookie one, and he tells me he wants a fucking cookie, and I'm like, I don't know how to get you a cookie. I'm not gonna go make you a cookie, motherfucker. Okay,
like, you can go make it yourself then. Like, I've been sitting there doing all this shit. You're like, you can go and sit there and make yourself a damn cookie, or right? You could order a cookie.
Yeah, order a cookie. Right, yeah. He'll be like, I know how to get that cookie.
I am so dead.
Okay, let's talk about you again, Jimmy.
Okay, all right. I'm done making fun of men. I'm sorry, men.
No. I mean, you know, it's so fun to trash. You know,
I know. I'm so glad my husband doesn't watch these.
No, but before you came on, like Noah and I were talking about you, and you know how wonderful your creations are, and you know how talented you are. I mean, and again, I'm not really flattering you. It's a truth. You know, it's a truth. So
I know my imposter syndrome has been kicked in for the last hour, so I'm sitting in my head like, you're lying.
No, I mean, you are so creative, and I'm just so fascinated. You know how you use your creativity. I mean, you know, not only to like entertain, and not only to you know, enrich life, enrich the world, but for activism. You know, so let's talk about that. You know, I just want to give you an opportunity to, you know, define activism in your own words. Like, what's activism for you, and you know, where do you get your drive from?
Okay. So when I was going through this question, I literally had a brain fart and had to Google what activism was, the definition for it. So when I looked it up, it kind of helped my brain get going a little bit. So this is kind of what I typed in here for this. So my answer, come on, scoot over. So to me, activism is pretty much just going out there and making change, you know, just putting your body out there into the world, taking the risks. My way is just to do it in a digitally creative way instead, knowing my boundaries, being, you know, a mom, stay-at-home mom, not being able to get a job, living in a rural area with no car. So I felt like this was my way of activism in a way that I could possibly do it. Also, we're in a digital learning world as well. A lot of things that people are learning is by sitting on their couch, flipping their screen up all the time. So I felt like this could be an opportunity to do that. Another big thing of mine too is that I felt like I could be necessary in at least in the digital learning activism world part, was that I really enjoy finding really hard topics with a lot of really hard language, verbiage, things like that, where people can't understand, and kind of break it down to small digestible pieces for people to explain. And doing that in like a visually creative kind of meme world, in a very viney world, it just seemed to me that was where I felt like I could bridge the thing, because as being like really empathetic kind of person, I really like to put myself in other people's shoes. So like I could sit there and listen to somebody, you know, a college professor talk about really boring subjects, and kind of piece it all together into a puzzle into my own mind where it made a bigger picture, and then take it to somebody who doesn't understand it and help them understand. And I tested the boundaries with real interactions and found out that I can do it image wise. So that's what kind of like what I like to do. I also help enjoy people's shows, obviously, to look better, because audiences obviously can be picky on the way that shows look. So just even helping the visual aspect of people's shows can bring in audiences, which helps make the change that I want to see in this creatively digital world anyway. And then my biggest thing is with activism is that, at least when it comes to doing things and being a part of the activism world, I have my specifics that I love. The small, like everybody has, like they want to be a part of the activism world and everything, but they usually have their select couple that they like. So what I felt like I could do was, instead of trying to be involved and a part of everything, find people who are involved and a part of things that I'm not, and help them succeed. And so enjoying people see them smile. I enjoy helping people learn new things, helping them grow, being successful. That was kind of where I felt like I could fit in and help out in the activism world in the parts where I'm not in. But the ones that I'm in, like my main activism, what I do a lot, like trans, LGBTQ, I really love going out and doing all of that. And my one of my biggest ones too is environment. So like I've protested Nestle and try to save our deserts and my mountain lakes up here and stuff like that. So I'm very into nature and the LGBTQ plus. So those are like my top two favorites of activism. And that's obviously from my story earlier. That's just LGBTQ plus has been a part of my life, and I've seen everything that the government has done. So it's just something that I feel like I need to be a part of and help, at least be an ally, if anything, to help them succeed. And then just nature, because I'm a witch and we love nature. So
Right.
plus I'm a millennial. We remember Al Gore and what happened with him. So in the kind of, yeah, we could have had we could have had a total different universe right now, a total different America, if Al Gore would have won instead of Bush. Like that was a huge turning point for at least environmentalists. So
yeah, I remember that election. My mom and I had a tradition. This is like before, like, I guess if you want to say I was considered woke. I used to be a shit lab, because that's basically what I was around. My dad was a conservative. My mom was a hardcore shit lab. I remember that we were sitting there eating what's that restaurant? Gumby's. We were sitting there eating Pokey Sticks, had some pepperoni rolls, and we're sitting there, we're waiting on Florida, and I'm like, oh fuck. And my mom just had this feeling. It's like she knew that Bush was going to cheat. She just knew he was going to cheat.
Yep.
And it was just like, when it was actually confirmed, it was like, fuck. Why didn't he fucking fight this?
I know. It was so sad. But you have to think, as a millennial, most of the time that we've been actually paying attention to politics anyway, it's not like our presidents have been really genuine and good. And when we thought that they were, they ended up disappointing us anyway. Like when we first really paid attention to presidents was Bill Clinton, and the whole Monica Lewinsky thing happened. And then after being impeached, he still got reelected. So that was a shit show. Then Bush and Al Gore, and then what Bush did for fucking 8 years. And then we had this hope, this let's bring hope with Obama, which ended up being drone wars and Afghan wars and just continuation of just Bush era stuff. And then Trump. And now we've got Obama's vice president as our president. So it's almost like nepotism, but with friends, since we've been alive. So.
Yeah, I remember the Clinton era. Like, my mom kept telling me he was just the best president. We didn't have any debt.
Yep. Right. Which is the worst thing to do. Once you learn MMT and how the economy really works and how government spending is done and how taxation is done, you come to find out that bringing down the debt actually takes away the money that is ours. You're taking our money away, because they're not taking from the rich. They're going to continue taking from the poor. So, unless they can find a law to where whenever they say debt relief or bringing down the debt costs or the debt ceiling and only doing it to rich people, unless there's a law like that, I will never be okay with them bringing down the debt. Keep adding to that motherfucking debt, because that's my Pepsi, that's my pillow, this my laptop, that's everything that I own in my house that you're going to have to make me liquidate to pay off your national debt when you're putting all that money into places that we're not seeing. So it's wrong what he did. If anything, Bill Clinton kind of ruined us for a while. Plus the Glass-Steagall thing too as well. So
well, not to mention his wife is very intolerable, and I can't.
Yep.
I'm not going to even go there. I know she's got a new fucking, what is it? Is it a podcast? And I think it's called like Gutsy or something like that.
I don't
have
even
no
know.
idea.
Yeah. Well, that just shows that's why she has to like stay relevant.
Yep.
But I see it on my Twitter feed all the time. I'm like, first of all, why the fuck am I seeing this? But like, second of all, like, the fuck? This is like the worst case of histrionic personality disorder I've ever seen.
Yep.
Just doing what you can to stay relevant. And exactly. I actually want to put a reminder out here too. She has now been a confirmed TERF. She is a confirmed TERF. Yes. She basically, okay, I think this happened, it may have been in Pride Month actually, I think. I'll have to double check. But basically, she was saying that if the Democrats lose, it's because we were talking about trans issues, and we need to stop talking about trans issues. And then she basically was simpering for J.K. Rowling.
Oh, disgusting.
It is disgusting. And people don't talk about that either. People are still going to continue to say that she was the best candidate and, you know, she's the best qualified person for the job. And I'm sorry, like, if she became president knowing that we had to be silent about trans issues, my faith in her is actually, well, it's already down, but it's completely gone at this point.
Yeah, absolutely same. She disappointed me when she killed Gaddafi and then went on TV and said, we came, we saw, he died. I was like, that's the most inconsiderate, evil thing you can ever say about a leader of a country that was just trying to nationalize his product and the things that they were producing, and you wanted his money. That's all you killed him for. You're a fucking bitch. Like, I couldn't take her. She's fucking evil. Who goes and kills a fucking leader of a country because he won't share his shit with you? And you're like, we came, we saw, he died. Somebody needs to bitch slap her. Like, disappointing.
Yeah.
It is disappointing, but the simpery for her is even more disgusting, to be honest. I mean, I just recently saw the simpery for Liz Cheney recently.
Yeah,
that's even more disgusting.
Yeah, that's been gross. Just because she's anti-Trump, that's it. That's the only reason.
But people got to remember, she voted with Trump 93% of the time.
Yep.
So is she really against Trump, though?
No, she just wants to claim the classic Republican name so she can get those votes, because a lot of the base is really getting tired of the extreme shenanigans from the Trump base. So,
well, to be fair, the Trump base is pretty scary, though. Their stupidity does scare me.
It is,
honestly, because like most of this has been the problem and the challenge. Our country has been dumbed down so much; it is hard for any of us to try to educate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That stupidity is just getting reinforced in mainstream media.
Yep.
The only reason why Liz Cheney is popular is because of January 6th. That's it. That's the only reason why people are praising her right now. And if I remember correctly, she was against LGBTQ. She was against the gay marriage. Obviously, I think I heard she did change her mind, and which, you know, I can respect that to some degree. People can change their opinions, you know, like when people come up to me and they are ignorant about the issues, they, in a sense, they kind of humble themselves. If they actually have the opportunity to listen to what you have to say, if they are really listening.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You just have to find the right people that they'll listen to. That's all.
Yep. So. She's just, oh, okay. But I know. I need another cleanse now because I when I'm thinking about Hillary, I'm thinking about that Karen picture I saw. It was like a Halloween costume of an evil Karen, and that's all I can see in my head right now. So I'm doing a cleanse, a mental cleanse.
Yep. So yeah, that's been pretty much my activism in a T. Like I said, I'm stay at home. It's very hard for me to get to other places, so I don't go out and do much activism. That's why I like doing it digitally to help other people. But one day when my kids are old enough, they'll be out of the house, and then I'll be able to go out and do some real activism again. So I can't wait. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but that's actually the beauty of it, though, because well, as a craftivist, I just wanted to point it out that, like, because we do have to democratize activism, so to speak. We have to make it accessible, so that anyone can participate, and anyone includes, I've been a housewife before, so people, who have to stay home, maybe like they are major caretakers to someone, or maybe they're disabled, themselves, and these people shouldn't be deprived of the opportunity to participate, and to change the world, and to be a participant, in the action. So I think it's huge, what you're doing and what you're saying, because that I think gives people hint. Oh, okay, maybe I can do that. So I mean, that's why I never want to rule out things like social media activism. The only time I will criticize people for just tweeting about it is politicians, because they actually have a job to actually do something about issues. So for them to just tweet about it, I think it's just kind of they're stealing, from us, right? I mean, they're like getting paid but not doing their job. So, but
And
for
people on the
anyone
phone
else,
liners.
I think social media activism is totally valid.
Okay, good. Okay.
Unless they engage in petty bullshit games.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the other thing that's been really challenging. Like, I see it a lot on left Twitter a lot. Like, I see people that are genuinely out there trying to advocate, try to get the message out there, and having that understanding that not everybody is going to be able to go out because, like you said, like, you have kids. So I mean, I have a kid too, but it's just like, as parents we can make that choice, but like, still at the end of the day, but they would rather sit there and pick out the flaws and call that activism of people that are actually out there advocating.
Right. Yep.
Totally disgusting, in my opinion, and I can't take them seriously.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's different. Yeah, you're right.
I just fight back with them. I fight back with them, and I give them a huge thank you. I tell them, thank you for going out and doing something that I am not capable of doing. One day, I hope that I am capable of doing it again. But until then, I am here to be an ally, support, benefit, share, do whatever I have to help you succeed in going out and doing this, because I can't. And thank you. That's what I tell all of you activists. So thank you.
No, but I mean, I feel like and there's as actually, Jimmy, there is a lot of this happening and has happened in healthcare justice space, but whenever somebody tries to tear down somebody for doing what they believe in doing, I don't think that's activism. I'm sorry.
Right.
You may be thinking that you're doing the right thing about by asserting your opinions, and I respect your opinions, but if you're trying to just like bring somebody down for actually trying to change the world for the better, that's not activism. So
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, they could be doing good work in activism, but yeah, at home, when their opinions come out, it could probably be trash.
Mm-hmm.
Living that double life.
Yep. But it's honestly sad, though. It really is sad, because like I have seen and heard horror stories. There's a reason there's not a lot of trans people that are not on Twitter. it's because they get harassed for trying to use their voice. I mean, I just from personal experience that happened to me, but obviously I'm back and I'm not going to let these assholes stop me. So
Good.
But like that's why.
Yep.
They just want to pick little flaws in a person. And then they weaponize their identity too.
Yep.
And make it worse.
Yep. Absolutely.
Fucking depressing world that we live in, but you know, we still got to keep pushing and we still got to be strong about it.
Because it's all about planting seeds. That's all we can do is plant seeds and hopefully one day they'll sprout out.
And I think too, we need to be at a place where we could just agree to disagree. It's like, okay, well, you don't agree with my opinion. Okay, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be good.
Like we've been taught now in this country now, it's like, oh no, we have to basically, it's either like we're blocking people or either that we're attacking them to the point where somebody feels so low, where their motivation is gone and they can't use their voice. That's the positions that we're in right now.
Okay.
At least in my opinion.
No, all I can do is trust what you're saying because this is your experience. So, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just me, but I've seen it with other people online.
Yeah,
I
don't pay too much attention in Twitter. I just know it's a cesspool, so I try not.
That is so true.
Yeah.
But see, Twitter is evil, though. See, that's the thing. When I left Twitter, I was actually trying to swear off Twitter. I was going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to go back to Twitter. I'm not going to go back to Twitter. But it was so hard not to like be away from it. Because I would be on Instagram, I would be on TikTok, I'd be on Facebook, and all I would see is Twitter shit. And it's just like, fuck. It's like, but I didn't want to give up social media either. Because like, I know that's a way I can use my voice right now. Because we are in a technological age. So I wanted to use my voice somehow, but it was just like, fuck. This is just the Twitter curse.
Yeah, Twitter's bad. I don't do too much. I'll like share people's posts or share like videos of live streams. Usually if I'm quoting or texting or tweeting actual words, it's stupid stuff. Like my last tweet, I said like, whoever invented the 2-day weekend, your mom's a hoe. Stupid stuff like that. So.
I am so dead.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what happens when you're a stoner. Like you sit there and you get really stoned and you just think of the dumbest things ever. And you just have to tweet it before you forget about it.
I so can relate to that. I so relate to that on so many levels.
Yeah, because once you forgot, it's gone. You can't retrace your steps. You can never think of that again, no matter how hard you try. So you better get it out. Absolutely.
But the only con with that, though, is like when I get stoned, that's when autocorrect wants to fuck with me the most.
I know.
Fucking hate autocorrect.
I know. It does some weird shit too. It does the weirdest thing. What is it? Oh my gosh. It was so racist. My autocorrect got so racist on me. I was like trying to text somebody about a new show. I'm like, so when are you going to start your new show? And it texted and it said, when are you going to start your Jew show? I'm like, no. Yeah. I was like, Jew equals new. I'm so sorry. Holy shit. The autocorrect really tried to make me anti-Semitic in front of a stranger. It was bad. The autocorrect hates I tell everybody my phone hates me all the time. It just hates me. It wants to ruin me.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
It's so true though.
No, look, I will be real. Whoever came up with the concept of autocorrect, in theory, it's good though. It is good.
In theory, yep.
However, I am convinced whoever was working on it was probably shit-faced drunk. I'm convinced at this point. They got shit-faced drunk or they got shit-faced stoned. Either or, they fucked it up from within, and now like I hate it, and I wish it would go away.
Like who in the right? Like, who wants to change the word "fuck" to "duck"?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Let me use "fuck," bitch. Jeez.
Right.
He probably wasn't even drunk. He's probably like some Christian boy who's like still a virgin who's like, I don't know if we should use the F word. We should put a D in there. Got to make this family friendly because we're selling them to children.
You know, I mean, a lot of kids text, right? I guess.
Oh yeah,
but I'm sure they want to say fuck. I mean, my child wants. I mean,
my child says fuck more than I do. I call her the sailor in the house.
In this household, I mean, we swear like sailors. You know,
Yep.
that's the same. So
yeah. That's our love in this family, you know. Like I always told my kids, I will never, ever, 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 ever spank you. I will never put a hand on you. Just let me say fuck once in a while, just because it feels really good. It feels so good to just release that. And then me and my kid have like this special little thing now. Instead of saying I love you and just like, you know, doing a heart or whatever, we do love you. And that's our thing. Because she's a teenager. What do you expect me to do? It's either fuck you, mom, I fucking hate you, or I love you.
Oh my God. I can't wait for my kid to get out of adolescence. This has been the worst stage of hell, honestly.
How old is she? How old is she?
She's 14.
Oh yeah, that's my age. It's horrible. I fucking hate it. I hate every second of it. But I try to make it as fun as possible by just being, you know, like a boss bitch with her, because I can't put out her flame. She is a unique, crazy, wild girl, and I want her to stay that way. So I might as well match the energy with my own version.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do with my kid too.
Yep.
And on top of that, you know, people that say like we need to not teach kids how to swear, come on now. Like I grew up swearing. Like my parents were like, you're going to learn this shit anyway, so why don't you just go ahead and do it? So it's like, okay, cool.
Yep. I hate the fact that I still am scared to say curse words in front of my mother. So I just didn't want that between me and her. I told her just, you know, for a long time, it was only certain words. You know, she couldn't say really bad ones, but now she's 14. I don't care. If she stubs her toe and says, fuck, get it, girl. That shit hurt. I know.
Yep.
Get it.
Yep. I do that.
It feels good. It feels good to just say it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It does.
Yeah. And it's better just to let them have that, you know, that's their personality. It's their becoming, they're turning out who they want to be. They're figuring themselves out. And if, you know, they're going to be grown up saying it anyway, might as well just let them say it how they want to say it instead of having to hide it. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Just like with people in power that are saying that we need to let kids explore it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really truly like standing by that either.
Mm-mm. Not at
all. They want to make environments rough for them so they can explore. So, you know, for me, that's just authoritarianism. It's not authoritative. And honestly, they just need to shut the fuck up.
Right. For sure. They do.
I mean, there is no manual to be a perfect parent. There isn't.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Well,
and nobody ever gets any kind of help. You're always like, everybody's figuring it out on their own, you know? Because your kid's never going to end up the way that you want. Whatever you have pictured and imagined and fantasized your whole life, completely opposite of everything you ever thought. So might as well just ride the ride and enjoy it and see what kind, because that's what my thing about my kids is. I can't wait to see what they're going to become. Just this, you know, just the way that they are now, just seeing it in adult form. I just can't wait. It's so intriguing to me to see what they're planning on doing with their lives. Now that I'm past that, you know, you got to do this and you got to do that. And, you know, the world judges this way. Now I can just be like, just fuck it. Have fun. The world is not rainbows and butterflies. It's tombstones and bats, but just enjoy as much as you can of it because it's all you got. And I can't wait to see what they're going to make of it. It's such a cool thing to at least experience that. Even if it's not your own kids too, like my nephews, I can't wait. My friends' kids, I can't wait just to see, you know, this new generation and what they're thinking and what they're going to bring to this universe, you know, once these boomers are gone. So.
Oh, don't even get me started. I mean, but look, just so we get it clear, because, you know, when this releases and everything, we are not like against boomers, but there are a lot of boomers that just really just need to wake the fuck up and actually put trust in us.
It's the boomer mentality is more like it. Yeah.
Thank you. You just said the words.
Because I have a lot of boomer friends. Like just this morning, I did the news with Sherry, and she's my boomer. I love her to death. She's great. So I know they're not all boomers are bad. You know, it's that the nuclear mentality. That's just
exactly. I know we're getting close to like time, so do any of you have any like last closing thoughts before we end?
One thing. Oh yeah, I wanted to make sure. Of something just really that's been really on my mind. I know I was talking to you about it earlier today as well, Sakuru. Something that I've been talking with people. I kind of noticed when I went out to Pride Festival this weekend that there's this cultural narrative behind the fact of that if you're married to a man, then you're not part of the community, or you can't be bisexual or lesbian and stuff. And it's I'm starting to see a lot of talk around it. As a married woman, I've talked to other women who are married. I got to see one this weekend at a booth. She said it as well, which was just hearing a random woman say it out of the blue. It kind of like, hopefully it hit me personally, but I'm hoping that maybe, the community out there can start to see, especially judgmental people out there can start to see that, just because we're married to men, just because I'm married doesn't mean I'm not blind. I'm still attracted. I still, Google when I watch porn, I don't watch straight porn. I watch trans porn. I watch lesbian porn. I watch anything other than the boring mission style stuff. So to me, to me, it feels like just because I've married a man doesn't negate what I'm attracted to. And what, as our generation too, as millennials, growing up, we never really had anything but the binary sexes. That's all we had, was you either date a boy or a girl, and I loved my saying. I had this really cool saying back then, is I was waiting for a third gender, whether it's aliens, I don't care what it was. I was just waiting for a third gender. I gave into the patriarchy of, your body's not getting any younger. You need to start settling down now before you get too old. I was almost hitting 30. So I was like, fuck it. All right. I met this guy who just seemed perfect at the time when I felt like I was getting old. He seemed right, and he is great. He's perfect. He's wonderful. But people don't realize is like right before I started dating him, I was with a woman for 2 years. Like that's, you can't, that doesn't negate the fact that I was still a lesbian. I just, now that there's words out there for us, which is absolutely incredible and amazing. Like I can go around and tell people I'm pansexual. I love everything. I don't care if you've got extra hair growing all over you. I don't care if you've got a vagina growing out of your ear. Like you're fucking sexy to me, it's all fucking hot. I don't even care. Like it's just sexy. But hearing the fact that I'm straight because I'm married to a man, it sucks, because what makes it even harder too is like I'm a white girl too, so it's like you can't say anything because white women tears and white women have privilege. And I'm like, I know I have white privilege, but I still like trans, and I still like non-binaries, and I still like all this stuff. And it's not fair, because now I feel like I don't feel stuck in my relationship. I love my husband to death. I'm so happy that I'm with him, but it's just, it sucks knowing that we never had that before when I was looking for it, because now we have it, and I'm never going to experience it ever in my life. And how many other women are experiencing that, to where, I don't believe in divorce. I know that I'm going to love him till the day he dies. I don't believe in it. That's where a lot of my Christianity still fits in my head, is once you're married. That's it till the day they die. So I won't be with anyone else until he passes. And what if I pass before him? Then I'll never have the chance to experience that. And I don't want other people to have to experience that. I'm so happy that there's all these different genders out there, and there's this beautiful spectrum of genders that all these beautiful people get to experience now, because my life is heartbreaking. Even though I'm happy and I wouldn't have it any other way, it's still hard and it still hurts. And I'm going to cry, and that sucks, because I fucking love my family and I love my husband, but knowing that I'll never be able to get to experience intimately being with somebody like that when I would love to be able to, that's the hard part. That's fucking hard for me, because that's all I ever wanted, was something other than just a man or a woman. And now I can't have it. It's like being in jail when you do a crime,
That's why I'm poly.
Yeah. You're lucky. I would totally do it with my husband, but I would totally feel like he would bring all these hot girls home and I might get jealous. Or he'd get mad at me because I'd be doing a girl and he'd be like, all right, that's cheating because you're like way too many girls around the house. I can't handle this anymore.
But for a typical guy, they would probably think that's a dream, though. Because there's a lot of cis men that fetishize that.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a typical, golden retriever, just loyal to a T, good little boy, doesn't do anything bad. He was raised by very strong women, only has daughters, his family's been in the porn industry, and since his grandmother, who was the first female porn company owner in America in the 70s. So he's just been raised by women being respected because you have to in the porn industry, and very powerful women as well because of his grandma, and then his kids as well as daughters are super, super great, beautiful women. So he was raised by some really great women, so he definitely knows how to treat women, and I got very lucky.
I wish there was more men like that, to be honest.
Yeah. I tell everybody, just find yourself a golden retriever. If he's a gamer, you're already 75% of the way there. So
that's so true.
It's so true. Gamers are the best.
I hear you on that one. I love me some gamers. As long as they're not like South Park gaming. I don't know if you've seen the episode, the World of Warcraft episode. I guess there was this. I use it as the Bosch gif, actually. He's a bigger, chunkier person. He's sitting at his computer, just trolling at things, eating Cheetos. That's kind of like what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Those
but
jerk
still,
ones.
gamers are still
like the
awesome
Call of Duty players, right?
The very dedicated ones, the ones I'm trying to prevent my daughter from becoming.
Just really nicely tell her to ask the boy when he was born, the time he was born, and where he was born, and I'm pretty sure that boy will run away. So they're like, astrology bitches, we're out, we're gone. I'm trying to find my moon and my sun sign. Nah, bro, I'm good.
Well, Zucker, did you have any last thoughts?
Well, okay, so yeah, my last thoughts. I was actually thinking two things is okay, so Noah says this too, but okay, I'm 51, right? Okay, so I used to say I don't talk about my age, but now I am actually making a point these days because kind of matters, right? So I'm 51. So obviously when I was growing up or when I was even young, quote unquote, there's none of this transgender thing didn't exist, right? So when I first discovered non-binary, in my 40s, I was like, oh my God, that's me, and my world, all of a sudden opened up. So I kind of know what you're talking about. So and another thing that I was kind of relating to is so I've been celibate for like 8-9 years now. Like I'm not in a relationship. I'm not in a sexual or romantic neither of these things, and I'm perfectly happy actually. But I always think that I'm pansexual. So me not having sex with anyone does not make me anything else though, even though I'm not having like sexual relationship, I'm still pansexual, so that's the kind of thing. But anyway, so I just wanted to say my last word is that's why at age 51 I feel very, very strongly that I have to do everything in my power so that younger people get to have a freedom and get to enjoy their life, as themselves, and that's very important. That may sound very simplistic to someone, but yeah, being able to live your life as yourself is really, really important. because that's a source of happiness. So yeah, so thank you for coming on to the show and just blessing us with your presence and your words. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for really, it's an honor. I'm very excited to be here and I'm humbled. So thank you.
Well, first of all, I second what Sukuru said, but I also want to address one thing. I know that there is a lot of gatekeeping discussion with the bi community and the pan community. You both just need to come together and just stop. Seriously, love is love. Why does it have to be about gender? Why does it have to be that way? Enough with it. Seriously, let's just universally agree right now. We're all different. We're all unique. I mean, we all have our preferences and everything. We can't help what we're attracted to. Stop trying to shame others. Now is not the time to be engaging in these type of conversations. We can have these conversations later if you want, but right now we have much bigger and more important issues that are at hand right now.
That's why I love all of these new terms that they're coming out with, all the everything. Demisexual is my new one. Who would have known
that one?
Yeah, who would have known there's a term for being turned on by intelligence? I just thought smart people were hot. That's all. I just thought learning was sexy, That's it. I didn't know that that's a term for it, which is way cool. I love it. I think it's
I would actually consider myself demisexual too. That, I didn't even know. Yeah, kind of like with both of you. I grew up in a generation where trans wasn't being heard of, non-binary wasn't heard of. And now, we're in this generation, it's wow. It's a whole bunch of relief is off of us. But I know it's brought up a lot of confusion, though, too, because it's so new and nobody's ever heard of it.
Right. Yep. I know.
So I just want to just... Yep. So I just want to say it is okay to engage in uncomfortable conversations. Please do it, for fuck's sake. Stop engaging in these performative, petty conversations because they're not getting us anywhere, to be honest.
Absolutely. I agree.
Let's bring back the phrase, we're here, we're queer, we're not fucking going anywhere.
That's awesome. Bring that shit back.
That's what we're trying to do at T.R.A.N. We're trying to bring that phrase back. We're trying to remind people it's there.
That's awesome.
We need to bring that back.
That's
not
right.
sitting back and just being too comfortable with what we have.
That's right.
Why be okay with accepting crumbs when we can have the whole pie?
Exactly.
That's where we need to get to right now. The gays, the lesbians, and even the bis, they've had, in some sense, their liberation. They don't get as much bullshit as the trans community has been getting. Let's all have that liberation.
Absolutely.
Everyone in the LGBTQIA plus deserves it. Yep. Every human being deserves it.
Yep. And just because you're uplifting someone else doesn't mean that you're going down. So.
Right. That's the most important. But
yeah.
I want to thank everybody who is going to be tuning in. Please continue to like, subscribe, share. And if anybody actually is interested in coming on here, please let us know. We would love to have you. We want to amplify your voice because your voice deserves to be heard.
That's awesome.
Hallelujah.
Sweet. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you want to do the music, Sukuru?
Yes.
Yes.